looks like he's coming our way. Hopefully we can scare him away. Alright, trying the third different camera this time, and a bit of a cluster going down to the ocean the other morning, but what an effort to get to where I was. And I thought the tide was actually maxed out and then it was going out, but it actually got higher. I just about got the camera annihilated by the salt water on the way hike back. And then I can't tell how the audio is, so whatever, is what it is. If it's really bad, then I'll reread those emails that I read by the ocean. But anyway, this is our last day here, and it's been a little frustrating for me because I can't get around. I don't have a vehicle here yet, and I'm nowhere that is kind of interesting to me, as in the wilds, right? I'm into the wilds and nature and shit, not where people are. But it is what it is. Now, quick note. I was somewhat surfing on YouTube last night while falling asleep. Now picture this one. I don't know how I came across it, but I came across a channel. I don't know who it was. It could have been Russian, it could have been Ukrainian. Either way, it was a young guy in the war fighting right now on YouTube. That's the point I'm going to make, is YouTube. And I guess he got a GoPro on, and you see him running around on the edge of the timber. Friends of his or his military partners are shooting with his small arms back and forth across the farm field, etc., etc., etc. And he ran and got some ammo, and he's talking to them in Russian or Ukrainian, I don't know which one. And he's scrambling across to get to his friends, and bam, you actually see the round come and hit him and knock him down. And then whoever loaded this video up, I think it was a Russian or Ukrainian YouTuber who was just covering, you know, crazy shots from the conflict. What I'm getting at is, I wish I didn't see the video because it was really sad. It actually choked me up a little bit. Because here's this young guy, and you can hear him moaning in pain and breathing, and you see his limb out there, and the camera's not moving. And he's dying. He's all by himself. He's laying there dying. Nobody's helping him. And then you can hear him break down, and he's starting to cry. In the bitter end, he's starting to cry. But anyway, so anybody's child right now, as long as they're old enough to turn on the computer, can go on to YouTube right now and see a young person get shot, bleed out, breathe out, cry for their mommy, and die. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. And then my friend Jeff Sims, whose GoFundMe link has been in a few videos, he's a very serious burn victim right now from his unfortunate explosion 3 weeks ago, and he's still in morphine in the hospital. But anyway, but meanwhile, Jeff and I could sit around a campfire in the snow in Canada, having a beer, and talk about the realities of what's going on in our community with the forced injections and more. And YouTube not only takes that content off, but takes me off and suppresses my voice. Right? That's more two grown men having a conversation between each other, sharing with the world, is far more harm done than a young innocent man caught up in a political conflict, getting shot, dead, bleeding out, with the video posted on YouTube to show him right out to his final, slower breathing, crying for his mom. He's losing his life. That's pretty bad, don't you think? I mean, what more do you need in your face to know who the actual enemy of the people is or isn't? Right? Isn't that just frickin' cringe, creepy ass cringe? Anyway, that's my little rant for the morning. So much share. It's all you to think about. I guess the bigger question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What I would do, what I do, well, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep sharing the word. What I would suggest all you parents out there is to point out to your children the exact honest truth of what is happening to their communities right now. Point it out to your children and explain to them directly what is going on and what is happening. Okay, because it is the children who is going to turn this around, and that is a fact. So anyways, there you go. Now, getting on with one of my missions. Listen to this. This titled "New Follower." No, I don't know what this is about. We're going to find out. Steve, I've been followers of Dave Plattis for years, and I know he's truly searching for the truth. I found your channel by chance through YouTube algorithm. I assumed the beginning of your cast. Sorry. What do we got here? I assume at the beginning of your cast this is about hunting, but soon realized this September video was not. But the Sherlockian method of deduction eliminated the impossible to discover the probable. Your evidence presented was crystal clear. Signs and tracks are not the usual suspects, but a cryptid. Sabby, as you call him, that I and my father and uncle have been interested in since we were woken up by a chest-vibrating howl camping near my father's old homestead west of Glacier National Park. And that summer, my uncle passed around the Men's Magazine photo of the Patterson-Gimlin film of Patty. I thoroughly enjoyed following your evidence and conclusions. I like your laid-back approach and smooth delivery without the hype. I respect your devotion to keep safe the forest people from exploitation, as my Facebook native friend Angelique Benham does on her new Sasquatch sisterhood channel. I also like your recent email sharing of a diary account of a woman Ojibwe elder offering her secret tribal knowledge of the other tribe. As she said, "The time has come before it is forgotten." There we go. That's a great sentence right there. The time has come before it is forgotten. Who they are and how to act around them in an encounter, portals, the star people, and the little people. I had to turn Angelique onto your channel. She said, totally on board. She has quite a few encounters all her life, but been shamed into silence as a child, but not anymore. She's taken on our mission to inform too. You're welcome to break this long email into parts. I'll share my encounter on US 20 at Tapley Woods of a dogman over a roadkill which I documented in Cloaked Hedgehog Dogman. Okay, hold on. I don't know who that is. About 2010 or earlier, late evening on a weekend trip to see my parent at Galena Territory, 5 minutes from Tapley Woods. I was driving my cargo van at 45 to 50 miles per hour past the exit of the rest stop / hunting registration area on the north of the road going west. I noticed a dark figure stooping over a roadkill. It was jet black, and when our eyes met, its white, burning, evil glare shook my soul. In absolute fright and knowledge, this was not just an animal, but demonic. I gunned my old van to the limit. I was in fear. It would chase me because I could feel its stare from the passenger door rear mirror. I pick up 2 invasive thoughts: leave and forget. In 5 minutes, I was at my parents' home. Went to the guest room and closed the shades of a floor-to-ceiling window right next to my bed. I did not think of that experience until I saw an artist's depiction of a canine variant, 3 all black and burning white eyes. An artist's depiction of a canine variant. A canine variant 3, all black and burning white eyes. Later I found another account from an elderly couple. A black, white-eyed wolf man had run across the road in front of them driving at night on Blackjack Road in the same Davies County, not more than 20 miles away. 125 miles from the famous Beast of Bray Road by Linda Godfrey. My brother, who works for the FBI, who also has lived at the territory with his wife, has said the territory security found a dead deer 20 feet in a tree. I think only African leopards only stash their prey in trees, but nothing does that in North America? No, they don't. I suppose a car could hit something that hard, but the territory, winding roads would never let you get up to that speed, and no reports of a crash. After that, in the winter After that, in the winter, 500 feet before the territory general store on Watchter Road, I saw a giant all-black dog or wolf. It crossed very casually, even though my muffler is a little bit loud. I caught up with security just ahead of the wolf and asked if he saw that monster canine in his rearview mirror. Nope, he said. I googled if wolves were seen in Illinois. At the time, only once in 50 years. And if it was a dog, there was a strict leash laws and fines on who would let that out. In 2000, I worked and remodeled by myself a penthouse suite in Saugatuck, Michigan. And a Saturday night, on my way to the local country bar to hear some music, mind you, I'm sober for 28 years uninterrupted, I walked a lonely tree-covered road about a mile or two to the club. On my way, every time I made that walk and crossed the Gershon Creek of the old golf course, I got a terrible foreboding and feeling of being ready to be attacked. I stop every time and see the roadside home all dark, golf course empty. But as David Paulides said, do a 360 and look up also and take pictures, and I did not. 2 years ago, my old boss asked me to rehab electrically an abandoned Catholic church and residency, but way north near Manistee National Forest and Ludington, the one of the corners of the Michigan Lake Devil's Triangle. Dave P. refers to many strange occurrences there, and my friend Cindy Fleming says it's a hotbed of dogman activity. She's from there and has a mental communication with dogman clans. Crazy. But they are not evil, she says. Just that they are so powerful in telepathy you might seem overwhelmed and think they mean to harm. Not sure I agree. Mine was an evil entity, maybe pretending to be a dogman, but demonic or evil extraterrestrial. So, I'm in an abandoned church property 2 years ago, all alone at night except for a very scary guard dog. I'm in the Devil's Triangle, 2 blocks from a wooded cemetery. In the middle of the night, I have to walk the old dog or clean up its weak kidneys. I shine everywhere. Can't shine height, but they always blink. Coyotes have that sway in their walk, all greenish. I blocked all the windows with paper for privacy, without electrical permits, but I just do not want to see any other color eye shine at 8 to 10 feet high looking in, LOL. The coyotes do give me a fright. One night they all gathered under my bedroom window, maybe 6 or more, that yipped and howled for half an hour. That's frickin' weird. I could not force myself to even a little peek. Dogmen have been seen with coyotes. Another incident happened, but I admit my ignorance of large racked Michigan deer behavior at 9 or 10 p.m. But the drywall contractor gave me a ride to Manatee for pizza. On our way bolting across the road was a huge male deer. I thought, what the heck is chasing that big guy in pitch darkness all by himself? If we only stopped, we would have found out. Any insight, Steve? Thank God I did not see orbs or UFOs that 8 weeks in the fall. Just things or tools would disappear, and I find them in unusual places. Steve, keep on your successes and mission. God bless, Lloyd V. Okay, man, there you go. Another member. The dogman thing, like I said, it's not. I'm not the guy to ask any questions about the dogman thing. I'm learning. I'm listening, and I'm learning. That's all I can do at this stage of the game with that topic. And pass on what everybody's seeing, right? Man, it's so humid and muggy here. Thanks for sending that in, man. You find out something that people can benefit from, you share it. Now, what's this one titled Sasquatch? Hi Steve, my name is Brenda. Oh, sorry. Hi Steve, my name is Barbara. My encounter happened down on a trout river in Arkansas in the winter. I love to fish and hunt, especially the trout fishing. This is one of the few areas that is open in the wintertime. The water and electricity is turned off by the government this time of year. I have a big trailer that I camp in. The trailer is 34 feet by 12 with a 12-foot slide out. This is a big, heavy trailer that was made in '94, mostly iron. This trailer was made more to just live in than to pull. It's in great shape, but it takes a 1-ton or a dually to pull it. I have a 4-door dually that I pull it with, and it drops my truck way down in the back. It's been several years ago, wintertime, and I was the only one camping in the park. It was great. I built up a fire and was sitting around the fire, just me and my dog. She's a small dog, mixed breed. She was doing a lot of growling. But with all the raccoons around, I didn't pay a lot of attention. I always carry a stub barrel 38 in my pocket. Sorry, just in case someone would walk out of the bushes, which has happened before, LOL. My dog and I stayed up late watching the fire, and after it had died down, we went to bed. About 3:30 in the morning, the trailer made a loud bang and shook all over, knocking things down. That would suck. I grabbed my gun, jumped out of bed, and ran to the window. It sounded like a car had run into the trailer, but saw nothing. I could see a long way in both directions on the road leading in and out of the park, but saw nothing. I finally went back to bed and back to sleep. The next day I went out and looked at my trailer. The tongue of my trailer had been moved about 11 inches over from where it had been sitting. The big wheel that the trailer tongue sits on was moved sideways and had dug into the asphalt about 2 inches deep and 11 inches over to the side. Wow. The wheel was facing the road but had been pulled sideways 11 inches. 4 men couldn't have moved that trailer. Bears are in hibernation at this time of year and no deer could have done it. It had to have been a Sasquatch. About 2 years after that I saw one, but the road going to my house as it crossed my driveway around midnight, and the same night my neighbor had a pallet of range cubes ripped to pieces. No tooth marks or footprints, no signs of bear. Best wishes to you and Sarah and the little ones. Thank you for what you do. P.S. Go to YouTube and Google Arkansas Bigfoot / Ken King. These people have a family of Bigfoot living in their field behind their house. They feed them and mind speak with them. The older videos are better ones. All right. So if I didn't read that incorrectly, you seen one, right? At the time you could have done it, it had to have been a Sasquatch. About 2 years after that, I saw one by the road going to my house as across the driveway around midnight. All right, maybe email us back and tell us exactly what happened. What did it look like? How big was it? Did it look at you? Okay, anyway, yeah, it'd be great if you could email us back in with a little more details of what you saw. A lot of people are going to want to know anyway. Another member of the Club of No Return, right? Here's another one titled My Brother's Encounter. Hey Steve, you can call me by my middle name, which is Bobby. Love your work and support. This is just a few screenshots of my brother's experience that he shared on my birthday back in 2021 along the Ohio River region. All right, so look at this. It's in, he screenshot the conversation, just so you guys know. So hopefully this reads smoothly, okay? Here we go. I live in West Virginia on the Ohio River. I travel a lot with my job, where was traveling to the lower part of the state, deep in the mountain. Reply, oh, so Bigfoot is true blue mountain folk. Thumbs up. Then, I hope you can see it again and record it, bro. Please send it to me ASAP. He said, if I get that chance to see it again, I might cause a wreck this time, if I'm going to take a picture. Greatly appreciate that, bro. No problem. You good, bro? Damn, I wonder how many were within that area. He probably was making sure you... Okay, hold on a minute. I think I gotta read this from bottom up. Nope. Alright, sorry you guys. Bear with me. The next screenshot of the conversation texting. Just standing there. Damn, I wonder how many were within that area. He probably was making sure your load wasn't too heavy. Government got Bigfoot writing tickets in the mountains. The other guy says, laugh my ass off. And he says... You got me mad hype though, all jokes aside. I swear I've always wanted to see at least one. And the guy says, I seen it. He said, where's that area again? You out of South Carolina, you told me before, correct? I live in West Virginia on the Ohio River. I travel a lot with my job. We was traveling to the lower part of the state, deep in the mountain. Oh, Bigfoot, okay. Here we go, now I got a next screenshot. On Bigfoot, yeah bro, seen that shit. Yo bro, you talking to the city boy who always stared into the woods every summer traveling down the I-95 heading to Saluda and vice versa, wishing I could see one. Did it look just like on the TV descriptions? Bro, that MFer looked like it was about 7 to 10 feet tall, a lot of hair. I was driving down the road on the way to work going through the mountains. Your confirmation of their existence is a birthday present, all unto itself for me. I was in shock. Man, how fast were you going? I probably skidded and ended up in a ditch and climbed the car all over bleeding, staring mad crazy, LOL. LOL. Man, I drive a big Dodge 3500 and I was pulling the trailer. Have a witness, the guy in the truck with me. I was just got off the interstate going down a side road about 2 miles and I was only riding about 45. I'm just looking out to my right and there was guarantee the people behind me seen it too. I could get my brakes because of my machine on the back. Oh, I probably meant I couldn't hit my brakes because of the machine on the back. Oh man, I know you're probably like, holy shit. Was it walking or just standing there? So just standing there. Damn, I wonder how many were within that area. Okay, there you go. Did it. That's all there is. So there you go. I've done that before too. I've taken screenshots and shared with you guys. Sweating, man. Sweating just sitting here. But I've done screenshots of texting and shared with you guys in the past. Texting conversations are normally not the smoothest thing between friends, let alone taking somebody else's and sharing it smoothly verbally here, right? But there you go. Another member of the club. Didn't ask for it, seen it driving. You get a hold of that guy, get him to email us in his story if he wants to. ShareMyStoryHowToHunt.com. We'll get it shared. Now, one more. Titled Strange Tale. Hey Steve, I tried to email you once before, but I'm not sure if you got it. If you already read it, I apologize. My story is a strange one. It has extraterrestrial elements as well as other paranormal events. It started about 3.5 years ago when I aimed a laser at what I thought was a star. I was astonished to see it rotate, wobble, and move. I kept aiming the laser at different stars to find almost all of them doing the same thing, moving. I also noticed this accompanied by the sounds from in the woods near me, bipedal steps coming towards my direction. My first thoughts were that this is a Sasquatch. I had no reason to believe it was. Soon, though, my mind was changed. The first thing that happened to make me believe it was one night while I was targeting a star, I heard an extremely loud crack from the woods near me. It had to be a tree limb 3 to 4 inches in diameter, snapped like a twig. I also started seeing orange orbs in those same woods. Every night at dusk, 2 of these orbs would move from the deeper woods and make their way closer to the edge, like they were watching me. The clincher for me occurred one night when I was using a pair of night vision binoculars and saw a ring of glowing lights in a bush. I started moving closer to them, and at that moment a loud crashing erupted behind me, followed by a bizarre grunting, hacking, and spitting sound. The Sasquatch quickly crashed back into the woods next to me. I decided it was time to get back inside my home. Something told me to go to my front door, and I stood there listening. It was right outside the door and made a quiet growl. It wasn't a scary experience for whatever reason. I never got that sense of dread like a lot of people do. It turns out that there were many of them in the woods, and they took up camp in my yard at night. I could see them using my night vision binoculars. I guess that's why they avoid trail cameras. Their cloaking abilities don't work with them. They like to hang out in and around a large tree in my front yard. I'd still go out almost every day investigating the objects in the sky that I thought were stars, unafraid. I guess I got lucky and ended up with the reasonably peaceful Sasquatch. It never made me feel in danger or tried throwing things at me. They'd bang on the roof of a shed we had in the lot next to our house repeatedly, I think in annoyance of me using the laser. I saw 2 of them one night standing on the opposite side of the shed. You could see their shoulders and heads above the roof of the shed, which was 8 feet tall. So they both had to be around 10 feet tall. These beings definitely have a relationship with the things I saw in the sky, and the orange orbs, which I later discovered were watchers, as in fallen angels. Maybe Scott Carpenter is right in believing the Sasquatch are descended from the Nephilim. It would explain some of their supernatural abilities, like cloaking and mind speak, and their insane strength and size. They stayed around my house for months. I had many other paranormal experiences other than the Sasquatch, including the orange and white glowing orbs and various other interdimensional entities visible with the night vision binoculars. I saw some bizarre creatures. Needless to say, my view of reality has been changed forever. Yeah, it's like the rest of us. It's changing non-stop. And that's a lot, right? That's a lot to share, a lot to chew on. But I have heard numerous times from various people who are not connected in any way say that when you stare up into the sky with night vision, anything, and you lay there patient long enough, you start to see some incredible shit. I haven't done it myself, but I will. I'll do it. Maybe I should get a pair of those binoculars and bring them on my remote hunting trip so I'm alone and I can sit there and stare up. But then again, remember last elk season I seen at least 20 different lights up there doing weird shit. And thank God it was a long ways away and it didn't decide to come and hang out around my campfire because I'm not into that. But anyway, there you go. Night vision binoculars in the sky. It's not the first person to have shared that activity and those results. Careful what you look for, you guys, right? Alright, one more. Forest people sighting while steelhead fishing. Said many steelhead fishermen. Hello, Steve, and to all here at the round table. Steve, I was talking to my 87-year-old father about hunting and my plans for this year when I told him my experience up where we loved hunting for almost 50 years. My father wasn't surprised that I hadn't mentioned it to him, but he went on to tell me his story. Go figure. So, it was 1978, he and his friend were off on a weekend steelhead fishing trip, as my dad loved to fly fish for them, and he and his friend Frank headed out. So after a night of drinking wine and brandy, they set out to fish on the Smith River in Northern California. Frank was feeling the night before, and well, wasn't in too good a shape, but was first down the hill to start fishing. While my dad was getting ready, he heard some screams, and his buddy was hustling back up to the truck when my dad asked what the problem was, and Frank's reply was that a big, black, hairy thing just looked at him and screamed and took off in the willows that grow along the rivers and the streams. My dad just laughed him off and headed down to the spot when he saw a huge black thing run across the river that they couldn't even do in their waders. Upon reaching the other side was okay, missing some punctuation, okay guys? So let me read that again. My dad just laughed him off and headed down to a spot when he saw a huge black thing run across the river that they couldn't even do in their waders. Upon reaching the other side was a nearly vertical hill that my dad said it went up like it was nothing and stopped 3/4 of the way up and looked at my dad and gave the strongest female type scream that reverberated his whole body. My dad's not a small guy either. The fishing ended, to say the least, but here's an interesting part of the fishing game officer. Here's an interesting part. The fishing game officer pulled over to talk to them, and my dad explained what they experienced, and the reply was very interesting in that the officer did acknowledge the forest people in the area and told my dad they had nothing to worry about, that the screaming was because they had startled it, as it was probably getting some food. Sorry for this being long, but it's a complete story for all to hear. Keep up the good work, as I'm headed out in a week to try to fill my deer tag. Forrest. Okay, man. I love hearing those stories when the old boys decide to give it up, just like my grandfather did to me, right? They wait forever until they figure it's safe. And then that going up the nearly vertical face effortlessly, and I think it was the last time I asked if anybody can, email me and describe to me if they did manage to take note of what their fingers were doing and what their toes, their feet were doing when they go ripping up those extremely steep banks. I'm really curious about that detail myself. So, if any of you have seen that particular fine detail clearly, email me and tell me exactly what you saw. I'm really curious, all right? I want to know exactly what those hands are doing. Are they gripping? Are they digging in? Are they using two fingers? What? You know what I mean? And more people in the club and no return. Non-stop. Alright, here we go. Mark this as red. This camera's still working, I hope. Alright, this is titled Thought I Was Done. Hi Steve. Well, I thought I was done with sharing, and then made the new questionable decision of moving to Northern California, and it's starting again. I wanted to get out of Arizona because I just couldn't take that heat anymore, and I wanted to be in an area I could still prospect for gold. An opportunity presented that put me in an area with a long recorded history of gold production. I'm now living in a secluded fifth wheel trailer in the mountains just west of Piercy, California. I know I'm going to hear about it from the gang. Why, if I've had enough of these beings, would I ever move to ground zero for sightings? Well, I was not even considering that at the time, but it was an amazing opportunity, so I took it. Just call me dumber than a box of rocks and leave it at that. LOL. I got here about the end of May. I'm having quite the time of my life, man. Fresh air, spring water, and mountains. Life just don't get no better than that. Deer, elk, cougars, bears, and all the other regulars too. I love it here. All was good and peaceful until last week. I still say out loud every single day, look, I know you're here, you know I'm here, so if you must show yourself, please don't scare me. I mean you no harm whatsoever. Please, just don't scare me. It seemed to be working well. Then last week I made dinner, took a quick shower, and was laying in bed reading like I do every evening. I was listening to the tree frogs and crickets as I read, and it dawned on me that all the noise had stopped, and I mean as in all noise. Then an acorn bounced off the window next to the bed. I didn't think much of it as the squirrels dropped them on the trailer constantly morning and night. I started reading again, and another acorn hit the window, and then I realized it did not fall, it was thrown horizontally from a distance. The floodlights had not turned on, so whatever was out there was outside the range of the motion detector that activates the floodlights. I slowly got up and moved from the bed in the elevated fifth wheel down into the living area, sat down and started really paying attention. I slowly got up and moved from the bed in the elevated fifth wheel down to the living area, sat down and started really paying attention. I sat for a while and must have dozed off because I woke with a start, and at first did not know why. Must have meant I woke with a startle. Then it dawned on me, the floodlights were on now. I listened to nothing, no frogs, no crickets, nothing. I felt that pressure. No fear or panic, just that doggone pressure that stands your hair up. I sat very still, I could hear movement, but could not pinpoint from where. As I sat there in the dark, trying to figure out what could be out there and where it could be, there were 3 soft taps on the door of the trailer. Not hard or aggressive, it was like someone tapping on the door with the end of their finger. I thought maybe it was the owner of the property, so I said out loud, "Paul, is that you?" Nothing came in response. So I got up, opened the trailer door. That was a really bad idea because that thing was standing right in front of me, less than 3 feet away. Ugh. Steve has startled me so freaking bad I actually wet myself. Yes, I pissed my damn pants. I'm 5'10" tall, and I had to look up to see this thing's eyes standing in the trailer. It was chestnut brown. And yes, I know what chestnut is. Was raised around horses my entire life, so trust me, it was chestnut brown. The head was massive. You could have fit a 5-gallon bucket on this thing's head, and it had its left hand, yes, hand, up blocking the floodlight out of its eyes, and its right hand up the palm facing me in a gesture of just stay calm. Trying to catch my breath, and I said, "I asked you to please not scare me, what the hell?" It then took a step back, put both hands up, palms towards me, and I heard in my head, "I'm sorry, I only want to talk to you." It shocked the hell out of me, and all I could manage was, "What?" In response, the face looked to be pale gray color skin-wise, with hair slightly peaked in the middle of the cheek, and about 1 inch long around the face, and jawline getting longer as it went down the face. The eyes reminded me of a moose eye. That dark, almost black amber brownish color, the distinct circular pupil, defined whites around the iris, but huge. Its ears seemed tight against the side of its head, and small for the size of the creature. I did notice, though, that the hair around the eyes grew in a spiral-like pattern, almost forming like an inverted cup shape with the ear at the center. Maybe for sound direction? I'm no biologist, so I have no idea. The face was wide and flattened, but nothing like an ape. The nose was wide, very large nostrils, but not forward-facing like a gorilla, just huge. The brow ridge was very pronounced, not like you see in drawings of cavemen, but angled back smoothly into the forehead with very pronounced and thick eyebrows. Sorry, I need to take a break here. I'm trying to recall every detail I can, and it's stressing me out a bit. The hair on the chest seemed to be a little thinner around the chest muscles and down to the center of the stomach. It was not fur like a bear or any other animal I have seen. It was hair. Very thick, very glossy hair. It repeated in my head again, I just want to talk. I was shaking like a leaf in a hurricane at that point and said I need to sit down. And I did, right there in the floor in front of the door. It put its hands down and just stood there as we looked at each other. The muscle on this thing was incredible. Not the bulky muscle of a weightlifter, but that long sinew type of muscle like a cougar. Nothing but raw power. You could feel it. I finally said, "Why do you want to talk to me?" It looked at me with a kind of a curious expression I heard in my head, to learn. I asked to learn what? It asked in my head, "Why do you hunt for the shiny rocks?" I thought about how to explain gold to it if it has no concept of value or money. It answered in my head, "What is money? How do you explain that?" I'm asking because it said it will be back. We conversed? Is that what you call it? I talked out loud. It talked to my head. What do you call that? I asked it, "Who's hunting you and why do they do it?" All it would say is, "The bad ones. Only they know why." See, I didn't go totally dumb. We chatted. I'm at a loss. What else to call it? I spoke out loud and it answered in my head. It gave me a horrible headache that finally went away after about 2 days. And that was why we stopped. I started rubbing my temples because my head was throbbing with every heartbeat and my heart was racing, trust me. When I opened the trailer door, it swung back against the trailer, and no way was I opening the screen door and stepping out to get a hold of it. My guess would be it weighed 800 pounds plus at the minimum. I measured the next day standing in the trailer to where I thought its eyes would have been, and from the ground to that spot was 9 foot 7 inches. I'm still a little in shock, but I'll be damned if I'm letting this stop me from being where I love to be. Not friggin' happening. Steve, it said it would be back when I'm settled, and I'm not sleeping well because of it. I just keep remembering Scott's warning that if you're gonna try to be in contact with these beings, you damn well better keep in the back of your mind that for them, taking you out is always on the table. I had not asked for this. I would have been perfectly happy to never see another one, let alone have one tell me it'll be back. Crap, man, I don't need this shit. I'm asking all of you, please, how do I explain money or ownership to it? Steve, I didn't remember to ask who was hunting them, but all it would say is, the bad ones. If it does come back, what else should I ask? My heritage is Hawaiian Kahuna on my mother's side, and I think that may be why it chose me. That and my dad was a half Cherokee, so I have the mitochondrial DNA to predispose me to this from the get-go. Please, people, I need some guidance here. Please help me if you know how. I just want this over and gone. I hate looking over my shoulder all the dang time and wondering if this is the moment. I don't give a rat's ass if anyone believes me or not. I just want to be left alone, man. That thing could turn that trailer inside out and never break a sweat. It's very unnerving to say the least. Thank you again, Steve, for all you do for us. One day I want to meet you in person and shake the hand of a true man. Happy hunting and watch your six out there, my friend. John Bowen. Use my name, I don't care what anyone thinks. They weren't there. P.S. I attached a picture of where I live to give you an idea of the layout of the land. Share it if you want to. Whew. Well, holy shit, right? You go about answering your questions with about 10,000 questions, right? So about this. I have a feeling there's a lot of people here that have a lot of experience in this department, maybe possibly, and if there are, if you feel compelled to, just throw down in the comment section below. for this man, all right? And we'll see what comes. I didn't even look at the date on this email. I don't know how long ago it was, but make sure you email me back again, all right? Give us an update of what's up. And I don't know. Right now, I gotta chew on this one a little bit. Think about what questions I would ask. I don't know. I'm gonna need a few more minutes. So, tell you what. As I'm putting this video together, maybe I'll possibly type one of my top questions I might be able to come up with, and I'll throw it down in text on this video at the end. All right. So, hopefully this is recent. I guess I can look at the date. I don't know when it was. I gotta get going. But in the meantime, throw down your questions in the comment section below, and this is recent and ongoing. Maybe we'll get a little headway out of this. All right? And you, my friend, be safe, man. And as far as looking over your shoulder, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Was it 1985, 86 is when I seen that thing staring at me, and I haven't stopped looking over my shoulder since. And you know where I've been, right? There's no way I'm getting out of that one. But anyway, I'll be back again shortly from a new zone. Be safe out there.